Welcome back to the channel. This is a commentary channel that looks at anything and everything to do with life and death through a lens. My name is Gem Stone and I'm a psychic medium and I am an author. And like I said, every video from now on, I'm going to be plugging for $2 Australian. I will send you a 17-page PDF called The Signal Within, How to Channel. Now, my email address is gemamberstone@gmail.com, but my PayPal, just like the spelling of my channel, JOOWLZ@live.com. So if you would like a PDF on how to channel, and I'll put it in the description, please contact me. All right, talking about channeling, let's get on to the commentary titled Discernment in Channeling. Is your source divine love or a cunning distortion? The quiet warning. You might believe you're channeling something pure, something loving, something divine, but here's the question most people don't ask. What if it isn't? What if the voice feels calm, wise, even comforting? But underneath that, something is slightly off. Not obvious, not dramatic, just enough distortion to slowly lead your way from your own clarity, because not everything that feels spiritual is aligned with truth. And discernment is what keeps you safe. The skeptic's challenge. We're living in a time where everyone wants a message, downloads, guides, higher beings. But how often do people actually question the source? Real truth doesn't fear being questioned. It doesn't need blind belief. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. So, if something comes through and says, you must trust this immediately, that alone should make you pause, because anything genuine will stand quietly and allow you to think. My experience as a channeler. I want to ground this in my own experience. I've been channeling since my 20s. Back then, I started vocal. Information would come through and I would speak it aloud, sometimes while connected physically to the person I was reading. Later, in my 30s, automatic writing came in, and in the beginning, it wasn't clear or profound. It was messy, scribbles, fragments, things that didn't make sense. And I couldn't tightly control it. It felt like something was guiding the movement, but it still came through me. That's important, because everything that comes through passes through your own mind first. And that means it can be influence. The architecture deception. Now, let's talk about the part people don't like to look at. Not all sources are equal. Some feel elevated but carry subtle distortions, and those distortions often enter through emotion. They might tell you, you're chosen, You're special. You have a unique mission above others. At first, that can feel empowering, but over time, it can separate you from grounded thinking because truth doesn't isolate you or elevate you above everybody else. It steadies you. Another entry point is comfort. Messages that always tell you exactly what you want to hear without challenge, without balance. That's not clarity, that's reinforcement. Why discernment matters more now. In today's world, there's far more exposure to spiritual ideas than ever before. People are opening up quickly, sometimes without structure, without grounding. And when that happens, the line between intuition, imagination, and influence becomes blurred. This doesn't mean there are entities everywhere. It means the mind is incredibly powerful. And when you combine belief, expectation, and altered states, you can generate very convincing experiences. So discernment isn't about fear, it's about clarity. Decoding the energetic signature. Instead of focusing on what something looks like, focus on how it feels. Not emotionally, but structurally. A clear, grounded message has certain qualities. It feels calm. It doesn't rush. It doesn't demand. It allows space. Now compare that to something that feels slightly off. There may be urgency, a push to act quickly, a sense of importance that feels inflated, or a subtle pressure to keep returning to it. That pressure is the signal, because everything aligned with clarity doesn't need to pull you in. The ego as the gateway. This is the part that requires honesty. Our own mind can shape what we receive. If there is a desire to feel important, chosen, or elevated, that can influence the message. If there are unresolved emotions, they can filter through. So sometimes what people think is an external source is actually a mix of intuition and internal narrative. That doesn't make it meaningless, but it does mean it needs to be examined carefully. Spiritual bypassing. Another trap is what's often called bypassing, using spiritual language to avoid reality. Everything is fine. It's all meant to be. I don't need to question this. But real clarity doesn't avoid difficult truths. It includes them. Anything that encourages you to ignore reality or detach completely from practical thinking should be questioned. Rigorous interrogation. This is where discernment becomes active. You don't just receive, you assess. If something comes through, ask, does this respect my autonomy? Does it feel balanced? Would I still trust this if I remove the emotional tone? You don't need to accept everything immediately. In fact, it's better if you don't. Let it sit. Review it later. Clarity becomes stronger over time, not weaker. Authority and control. One of the clearest signs of distortion is when something tries to take authority over you, telling you what you must do, discouraging independent thought, creating dependency. A healthy intuitive process always leaves you in control. Always. You are not here to hand over your judgment to anything external. Securing your alignment. So, how do you stay clear? Keep it simple. Stay grounded in your body. Take breaks. Don't over-practice. Avoid working when tired or emotional. And most importantly, keep your critical thinking active. You don't lose your logic when you explore intuition. You bring it with you. Reclaiming your role. At the end of the day, you are not just a receiver. You are the filter. Nothing enters your awareness without passing through you. So your role is not to surrender control, but to refine perception, to stay balanced, to remain aware. Final reflection. There isn't a dramatic line between truth and distortion. It's subtle, quiet, almost unnoticeable at first. And that's why discernment matters. Not fear, not avoidance, just awareness. Because whether something is internal, external, or a blend of both, your clarity is what determines how it shapes you. So the real question isn't, is this divine or deceptive? The real question is, am I clear enough to know the difference? All right. Thank you for any and every view. I really do appreciate you. And I just want to let you know that if you got a lot of time on your hands like I do, and you want to do things like volunteer, there are different online where you can do services. I've just joined Zooniverse with a Z or a Z as the Americans say, and there are different projects you can do with, and I'll put it in the description as well, Zooniverse. So you can, if you're good at able to read different writing, you can transcribe old writing, you can count sunspots, you can count things on Mars, or like I'm doing, beluga whales. Okay, please, if you are going to leave a comment, I ask you do so respectfully. It costs nothing to be respectful. And if only the world we were more respectful, we were more caring, wouldn't it be a different place? So please be kind to one another. Take care of yourselves because you do matter. You're here for a reason. With love, light, and blessings. And again, I will put all the information about that PDF I'm selling in the description. This is my video today. I won't see you tomorrow. I have dental appointments. It's still going. So, yeah, I won't be able to make one tomorrow. So, it might be the weekend. If I don't see you, have a great weekend. Bye.